Welcome friends, welcome to the JCE Connect. Today we are going to study the geodetic surveying part 3. Here we are going to study about the routines of triangulation survey or the routes of triangulation survey. Previous problem we have seen the different routes we have adopted, how to adopt those routes, that what we are going to discuss here in this video. Now here you will be having the different routines of triangulation survey. The routines of triangulation survey generally consist of the following operations. What we are going to have, we are going to have the reconnaissance survey, then erection of the signals of towers, then the measurement of the baseline, then measurement of the horizontal angle, astronomical survey, and the computations. So these things we are going to have in the reconnaissance survey. Now since the basic principle of the surveying is working from whole to the part, the reconnaissance survey is very important in all types of surveying. The reconnaissance survey is required the great skill, experience, and the judgment on the part of the party chief, since the economy and the accuracy of the whole triangulation system depends upon the efficient reconnaissance survey. It includes the some of the things that what you have to understand. One is the examination of the country to be surveyed, then selection of a suitable site for the baseline, then selection of a suitable positions for the triangulation system, determination of intervisibility and the height of the station, and one more thing, that is the collection of the miscellaneous information regarding the communications of the water, food, and labor, and no other guidance will be very important things. Now see, if I ask you to do the whole surveying of our India, then it will be very difficult thing to do that. So for that you are going for the triangulation, and before going to the triangulation you should have some of the things keep in mind for the triangulation surveying. So these are the things that what we do before going for the actual triangulation surveying. Now here the site of triangulation selection of a triangulation survey, that we are going to think about that. See, first one is the station must be intervisible, and they should form a well conditioned triangle, well shaped triangle, easily accessible. Length should not be small or a large, not should be too small or too large. They should be in a commanding situation. Cost of clearing must be minimum. Line of sight must not pass over obstruction. These things you are supposed to keep in mind before selecting the triangulation station. Now no before going in further, that some of the instruments generally used for the survey are, say, we are going to use a small theodolite, and that sextants of for a measurement of angles, then prismatic compass you can use for the measurement of the bearing, then no you can use barometer also for the ascertain of the elevation. You can use steel tape, then you should have a good telescope or the powerful field glasses also. So these are the things you are supposed to use while selecting the or while working with the triangulation station. And before triangulation station, no erecting the triangulation station, you should know all these are the few things that you have to keep in mind. The next thing what we are going to discuss is the intervisibility and the height of the uh, station. Now that intervisibility, as started earlier, that station should be selected in a commanding position, so that right they are intervisible. In general, the reconnaissance party can ascertain whether the proposed stations are intervisible or not by the direct observation through the strong field glasses, either at the ground level or from the top of the trees or guide ladders. So these things you have to keep in mind. Now that distance of between these stations can be easily determined by using this formula: h is equal to d square divided by 2r into 1 minus 2 meters, where h is the height of station above the datum, d is the distance of the visible horizon, and r is the minimum, that mean radius of the earth, m is the coefficient of refraction, 0.07 for the land and 0.08 for the sea. H is equal to 0.0672 d square. H is in the meters and d is in kilometers. While using this formula, you should keep in mind that d, whatever d value you are going to put there, that should be in terms of kilometer. Now the next thing what you have to understand is that by taking a figure, that I'll show you how to be get that triangulation to be done here. That whole thing I have derived, how I got that h value here, right? And what probably will be the d. Now here h, if you take this, now if you consider this triangulation system here, r plus h square is equal to d square plus r square. Now here you will be having r square is equal to r square plus 2 RH plus H square, D square plus R square. If you keep that R there, R square get cancelled. 2RH plus H square is equal to D square. 2RH is equal to D square. D is equal to square root of 2 into RH, where H is equal to D square divided by 2R. H is equal to D square divided by 2R. 1 minus M, that is here 1 minus 2 meter, that is H is equal to, now this is the probable thing that what we are going to have, right? And also D I have given here, you can see that D is equal to right 3 point, now here you'll be having D is equal to 3.848 square root of H. You can have this thing, then no, it will be very easy to go with that. Now that intervisibility and the height of station is very important concept, where you will be having, right, intervisibility in terms of D, how it is going to be there, right? That is very important thing. Now if you take a relative elevation of a static, H is equal to, now if you consider these things, here we are having the now this is the Earth's curvature, here we are going to consider with while finding out the elevation of A and B, and right, so you'll be having, we'll know that we know that formula H is equal to D square divided by 2R 1 minus 2 meter, where H1, if you see this figure, if you see this now if you see this figure, H1 here H1 and H2 no, H1 and H2 are the elevations of station A and B. D1 and D2 are the distances of A and B at the tangency. This is the tangency, right? Here you will be having the tangency, and D is the total distance between A and B. We know that H is equal to H1. How to get H1? H1 is equal to 0.06728 D1 square, where D1 is equal to square root of H1 divided by 0.0628. That you can easily get that here. Now I'll show you here. It might be in this, in the second slide here. You can have that, right? See this, right? Now here I'll be having so I have taken a problem to make sure that how to understand this, but you will be having D1 also can be determined, and D2 also can be determined once H1 and H2 are known, right? Now here if you take a problem here, two triangulation stations A and B, I have taken 60 kilometers apart and have 240 meter and 280 meter respectively the tangential in D1 and D2. Find the minimum height of the signal required at B so that the line of sight may not pass the near the ground than 2 meters. The intervening ground may be assumed to have a uniform elevation of 200 meters. Now you can easily get this solution. See this, the minimum elevation of this one, no, the ground is, see that the minimum elevation of uniform ground where the line of sight is there, line of sight here, this is the line of sight, right? So this is LOS, line of sight, 200 plus 2 meter, that is the condition, means it should be at 202 meters, right? It should not touching the ground, or it should not nearby ground, it should above 2 meter the ground, right? That's why this 2 meter we have added here, so it is 2.2 meter. This elevation is then we consider it as datum. Then you will be having H1, see that elevation they have given 240 meter. H1 there, that is how H1 is equal to 240 minus 2.2, it is going to be 38 meter. D1 is equal to 3.8553 square root of H1, that is 3, this formula you have to remember, that is 3.8553 square root of 38 is going to be 23.766 meters. Then D2 is equal to that D2 is equal to D minus D1. So D2 D is given, right? Means distance between A and B is 60 kilometers is given. D1 D2 not given, so we are determining the D1 D2 here. So D2 is equal to D minus D1. So both are known. 60 minus 23.766, it is going to be 36.234 meters. H2 is equal to 0.06728 D square, D2 square, so you are going to have 88.33 meters. So this is how it is very important to understand. Now elevation of line of sight at B, see 202 plus 88.233, so it is going to be 290.33 meters. So ground level at B is 280 meters, right? It is given, okay. The minimum height of signal above the tower is 290.33 minus 280, it is going to be 10.33 meters. Now this is very easy problem, and you should please try to understand this problem. If you don't know anything about this, please let me know. You call me or you can comment me here on my video, so that we can cover it up a few more problems. Now this is one more problem they have given, a simple one. You please work it out with this, so you can easily get the different values here. Here different points they have given, say A, B, C, D, 4 points they are given, right? A, B and C, D, you will be having here the distance between all these 4 points they have given. So the altitude of two proposed stations A and B are 130 kilometer apart, are respectively 220 meters and 1160 meters. The altitude of 2 points C and D on the profile between them are respectively 308 meters and 632 meters. The distance being AC is 50 kilometer and AD is 90 kilometer. Determine whether A and B are intervisible, and if necessary find the minimum height of scaffolding at B, assuming A as the ground station. Now given AC is 50 kilometer, AD is 90 kilometer and AB is 130 kilometer. Elevation of ABC are given here. Then now here you can see that, see all distances they have given, right? Now you can see this, all distances they have given with the tangents also they have given, right? And you can have the D formula for that. You can easily determine the CE, ED, EB, CC1, DD1 and BB1. You can easily determine this by using the H formula. We know that how to get this H, and we know that how to get this. These things will be mentioned here previously. So this CC and CC1, DD1, BB1 are the elevations, and CE, ED and EB are the distances. So you are supposed to use these to get the result. Now the minimum height I have got a scaffold. Minimum height of a scaffolding required at B is 9.5 meter. So it will be very easy. You just try to understand this. If you don't get, you let me know. So we'll solve it once again. Now here we are going to discuss about the towers. So towers are very important things, signals and towers, right? So tower is a structure erected over a station for a support of an instrument and observing the for the observing person, and is provided when the station or the signal or both are to be elevated. The amount of elevation depends on the character of the terrain and the length of site described. The triangulation right tower must be built in a duplicate way, or duplicate means in double way, or securely founded and braced and guide. The inner tower support the instrument only, and the outer supports the observe no outer support for the observer, that you have to keep in mind. And that may be of any kind. Tower may be of a masonry, timber, steel, or it may be of a scaffolding also, right? So few of the towers I can show here. This is the tower, and this is the few of the tower with the signals, right? Now these are the signals: pole signal, target signal. I can see that these are the signals we can have, right? Now phases of signal, errors in bisection. You will be having two no bisection error when the observation is made on the brighter portion, and when the observation is made on the brighter line. So these two things you are supposed to understand, right? So before that, see, when you are going to use the different signals, like sun signals are there and the night signals are there, that also you have to understand. Then you are going for the phases. Two phases are there. One is when observation made is on the brighter portion, and when observation is made on the brighter line. Now here you will be having the observations made on the uh, brighter portion. Now here you can understand that this is the brighter portion, right? The blue one is the now here the brighter portion where you are going to do the understanding, and this is the phase direction, right? Here you are going to have the phase direction, the angle theta and alpha, alpha A. Then observation made from the instrument at A to the signal B. Now you will be having these formulas. We can get that, right? So these are the theoretical portions that you have to keep in mind. Now this is what from my side for this, and in further we are going for the few more observations about this brighter portion, and we are going to solve few of the no problems on this brighter portion and brighter line. Now if you go for the these things, no, understanding these things are very easy, but you should know the angle of direction of sun making with the surface, and the radius of the signal. You should know the distance between 2 points. You should know to get done with all those things, and the observer, the position of observer also you should know to come up or to cope up with the the observation made on the brighter portion and observation made on the brighter line, right? So understanding brighter portion and brighter line is very important. If you take an example of a mirror, then you can easily understand the brighter portion and brighter line. Here I have shown, I hope that, right? So it is not there, but I'll try to make it up, that thing. For now it is this much from my side. Thank you.